Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, it's always been a very peculiar relationship. These woke lefties, these supposed communist revolutionary types, these academic socialists who are constantly going on about evil lobbyist interests and corporate Washington, how evil and irredeemable corporations and capitalism are. It's always been very peculiar how those individuals seem to always fall on the same side of the corporation. Seem to be defending them or pushing the same rhetoric and talking points. Well, the more exposure that you get to all of it, the more it becomes clear that it's merely transactional, that corporate wokeness is just a cultural weapon that is wielded by powerful corporations, corporate entities, to either manipulate an audience or to attack their opponents. And that's where the transactional relationship comes from. It seems as though these supposed left-wing grassroots woke organizations have a very cozy and transactional relationship with mega corporations. I have an incredibly interesting Substack article that I gotta show you guys involving the Coca-Cola Corporation and the NAACP. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. We got this report from the Gateway Pundit. Former lobbyist. Soda companies paid the NAACP and other groups to call opponents, quote, racist. The article then quotes many passages from a Cali Means piece on Substack, or actually, correction, it's Threadreader, which essentially compiles his Twitter thread all together in one. Excuse my confusion. So we have a Twitter thread from Cali Means. He writes, early in my career, I consulted for Coke to ensure sugar taxes failed, and soda was included in food stamp funding. I say Coke's policies are evil because I saw inside the room. The first step in the playbook was paying the NAACP plus other civil rights groups to call opponents racist. Coke gave millions to the NAACP and the Hispanic Federation, both directly and through front groups, like the American Beverage Association. This picked up in 2011 and 2013, when the Farm Bill and soda taxes were under consideration. He then links to this article. According to a new report issued by the nonprofit Center for Science and the Public Interest, that case in which the state chapter of the NAACP and the Hispanic Federation unexpectedly joined Big Soda's legal fight is just the latest illustration of the persuasive power of, quote, philanthropic grants from the sugar drinks industry. Both groups received grants from Coca-Cola, with the national NAACP receiving at least $2.1 million from the soda giant in 1986, including $100,000 as recently as December. The Hispanic Federation also lists Coke as a donor, and in February 2012, its president, Lilian Rodriguez Lopez, left the nonprofit group to become a director of Latin affairs at the company. Cali Means then continues, the conversations inside these rooms were depressingly transactional. Quote, we Coke will give you money. You need to paint opponents of ours as racist. The effort was successful and the message was carried in thousands of articles between 2011 and 2013. Coke's position was clear. Soda is one of the cheapest ways to get calories, a flagrantly inaccurate statement when factoring in health consequences. He then leads to this article right over here, written by the New York Times, by the way. Minority groups and bottlers team up in battle for Big Soda. The two groups that oppose the New York ban, both of which have received grants or sponsorship dollars from Coca-Cola or PepsiCo, argued that the regulations unfairly discriminated against bodegas and other small neighborhood stores while leaving supermarkets and other retailers exempt. Here's an article from Reuters at the time. The ABA has said that taxes on soda would hurt poor people and local businesses while unfairly targeting one product. They also challenged the link between soft drinks and obesity, saying obesity rates have risen and even as US consumption of full-calorie sodas has declined. And so I don't want to get too deep into this thread. You guys essentially get the point. What I do want to focus on, what I want to point out, however, is just how eerily similar those talking points were to what we're seeing from the left all the time. In the clown world, everything is racist. Math is racist. Highways are racist. Going to the gym is racist. Healthy food is racist. We constantly see these articles popping up over and over and over and over again, and we generally disregard it as woke, pseudo-academic, probably written by a Harvard social studies graduate, utter nonsense, and we move on. But it seems more sinister than that. It seems as though all this crazy wokeness has corporate backing behind it. The woke lefty socialist revolutionaries are really corporate stooges. Yes, these college Marxists are propaganda mouthpieces for major billion-dollar corporations. It sounds crazy, but it's also so believable and kind of obvious. This corporate wokeism has never really been genuine. It's always been an emotionally manipulative marketing tactic. And it really makes you question in some cases, what's the motive? What was the motive for Disney trying to step in and stop Florida legislation protecting minors from being groomed in schools? What was the motivation for Coca-Cola stepping in Georgia, publicly opposing voter ID laws as supposedly racist? Well, it seems as though there's a back and forth. Scratch our back and we'll scratch yours. Wield your cultural weapon, which of course is the left's grasp on the mainstream media, and woke cultural talking points. Attack our opponents as being supposed racists, bigots, homophobes, whatever it is. And when it comes to the day where you need us to try to step in to publicly condemn some Republican legislation, we'll do so. It's all so cynical and transactional. None of it is authentic. I'm always going back to the same exact example. This. All these corporations are supposedly so woke, supporting the LGBTQQIA+/XYZ plus minus equal sign greater than community. But when it comes to corporate wokeism in the Middle East, well, they fall flat now, don't they? Corporate wokeism is evil. In fact, I'd argue that wokeism in general is evil. Not only is it an ideology that's clearly divisive and pits people against each other, but it's an ideology that propagates these ridiculously disturbing ideas that have actual harmful consequences. Whether it's all the stuff involving children and all the confusion that's going on there, or whether it's just the straight up cope that hurts people. Arguing that regulation or doing something about coke hurts black people is kind of messed up, especially when you understand the truth that these disgusting cancer sugar drinks are actually harming people. And there's actually data to suggest that these disgusting sugar drinks are disproportionately affecting minority communities. The woke left that claims to be fighting discriminatory practices is actually enabling corporations to continue to prey on uneducated, marginalized communities. Woke ideas don't help or protect anyone. They actually hurt the communities that they purport to represent and help. It's the whole Black Lives Matter phenomenon, pointing the finger somewhere else. Black Lives Matter, they say, as they point the finger to white cops, and actually in many cases, cops who happen to be people of color. Meanwhile, if you really cared about black life, well, you would probably be focused on gang violence, restoring the nuclear family, taking on the public education system racket, and the drug abuse epidemic. Wokeism is an authoritarian political weapon. It's not used to fight for doing the right thing or protecting people. Quite the contrary. It's used to manipulate and control, to promote propaganda, and to create cult-like ideology in an effort to divide and conquer. Just like we saw here with Coca-Cola. Use a sensitive topic like racism to divide, achieve your legislative goals, and conquer. I don't know, hopefully you guys see where I'm coming from. I found this relationship absolutely fascinating, and it builds onto this phenomenon that we've been covering for years now. This unlikely marriage between these woke leftists and major corporations. This is a great direct look, a direct glimpse into how the woke corporate machine operates. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel if you guys are up for it. I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching, friends, and I'll see you on the next one.